I'm at Blanchette, AndersonVision. I'm here today with one of the stars of the really charming and lovely new romantic, not romantic, but comedic drama film, American Dreamer, Kimberly Quinn. American Dreamer star Peter Dinklage, Shirley MacLaine, Michelle Milet, and Kimberly Quinn as Shirley MacLaine's concerned daughter, Astrid, who is concerned that her mother is seemingly taking in this new boarder, this economics professor, who seemingly is going to be living with her mother until she passes. Now, this story is based upon one that was told on NPR's This American Life. And the script was written by your husband, I believe, Theodore Melfi. Now, how did you wind up becoming involved with this particular picture, starring in this particular role with, him being the writer?
Well, I have the privilege of also producing this movie. So,
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that as well.
oh,
You are
that's
the producer
okay.
and yes, all right.
Yeah, so being the producer, I got to, kind of shepherd the film as Ted wrote it, and all the other producers collaborated, um and Pete Dinklage as well. And you end up creating a script that, well, if the shoe fits, you wear it, because sometimes you don't get to wear that shoe because you have to find a different kind of talent for the story. So you're either, maybe a huge name or diversity call, or like that, whatever the script calls for. So it just so happened that the shoe fit, so I wore it.
And how was it that you came to find this particular shoe for this particular ensemble, so to speak? Like, what drew you and your husband to wanting to make this project?
Well, I mean, the story based on this true story, I mean, it just screamed comedy. And when, you find a gem like this, especially a true story, it just makes the process so much more. It just brings it to life so much more, because you know that you're actually bringing to life a real true story.
Was was it important that considering just how prominent, the part of Astrid's daughter is in this film, just was it important for you to sort of be as present in the script as, Shirley MacLaine's character was, or Peter Dinklage's character was, in the whole story?
Um, Ted did a really great job at balancing that. And I think Maggie's role was serviced really well in servicing Shirley's character, Astrid. You never, it's Shirley and Pete's story. So if I can service their story in any way, shape, or form, and bring it to life and make it a better story for the whole, then I'm happy to do that.
That's a great way to phrase it. How exactly did Shirley wind up becoming involved in this project, both Shirley and Pete?
Well, Pete was involved from the beginning, and Shirley, we reached out before, as the script was being written, and we had a meeting with her. We all met her. We talked about it. She knew the backstory, and she was full on board. And she was so excited. She had so many ideas. She helped shape her character in so many ways, and it's always amazing to collaborate with the actor.
there's a moment with her and Peter on the beach. I was told that the moment was her idea. Was there anything that was specifically your idea that you brought to Ted and said, "I'd like to do this with Maggie," in this scene or in this moment?
Well, I really looked at Maggie as this wild woman kind of thing, very unpredictable, emotional. And I don't know, to be honest, if Ted or the director saw her like that, but I was pretty adamant in bringing forth really big full emotions in every scene that kind of, to me, is reality for any woman or man that lives this crazy life, because one minute we're up, the next minute we're down, the next minute we're emotional, the next minute we're in love, the next minute we're so I just had this vision and they allowed me to bring it.
Yeah. Did you sort of feel that the importance of this story, and I'm forgive me if this is a really dumb question, the importance of this story, it's not as, prominent or as not as, it's an important story, but it's not as, monumental, say historically as say Hidden Figures or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's still an important sort of human story. And did you feel as a producer that you were bringing something similar to this, with this to the screen?
Well, yeah, because any story that can service the human being to lead them to more compassion and love and understanding of themselves and others, I mean, that's a story worth telling.
As a producer, why specifically, why Victoria? Was it just, did you feel like it represented this Boston, accurately? And was it just, did you want to take advantage of all the great local talent, I guess, all the scenery and just everything that was really beautiful about, because it's if there's one thing about this film, aside from of course the story and the acting, it's just how gorgeous it looks and just how really beautiful. I mean, the house is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, like I said, it was during COVID, so there were many restrictions, and Victoria just ended up being a place where we as filmmakers also felt safe, because it was an island that not many people were there, because that's a tourist place where it's very busy in the summer. So in the time when not many people were there, and so there were a lot of factors that went into it, and I think we got the best of both worlds.
I know it shot about a month, I think, 30-ish days.
Yeah.
So, did it wind up going pretty much, as you had hoped as a producer to shoot?
Well, no, there's things that come up where you're like, okay, we didn't get that scene and we didn't do this and we have to push here. And that's the exciting part of producing, is lots of little fires have to get put out throughout the entire third, how length of the film. So, but
I
the
mean,
great
not bad fires. I would hope that there were good surprises, more than bad surprises.
Yeah, well, when you're shooting a film, usually the surprises come up aren't that great, because yeah, there's good surprises in, like, oh, what a beautiful shot we got, and that scene was great, and whatever. But other things pop up, like we lost a location, we're running late on this scene, we're gonna lose a day, we have to figure out, so there's a lot of moving parts, like a puzzle that you just have. It's like a puzzle that keeps losing pieces that you just have to keep putting back together to make a full puzzle again.
Yeah, I can get that. That's a really great description of it. Um, One thing I really loved in the writing was just how surprising it often was. Like there were moments that I would not, it's probably a cliche to say this, but there are moments I wasn't expecting, and there are the creative use of the overhead projector in one scene. Was that
Yeah.
was that entirely Ted's idea? Like, did that just spring out of his, like, I was like, what? Oh my God.
I don't know, but like as you know, the producer and everything, I was like, what are we doing right now? And that's okay. I'm a little prudish like that. But uh yeah, I think it's just, part of storytelling and getting the point across and having Phil like really lose his mind and kind of go to a place where it was authentic for his character.
And I really did appreciate just, I mean, Phil being, he has to deal with obviously throughout the film a parking space. And he
Yeah.
also, so he is obviously a fallible human like anybody else. So I really appreciated that, he's not, he's not, a saint. He's put upon, but he's realistically put upon. I'm disabled, so I kind of have to deal with that sort of parking space sort of stuff, and I felt that was really relatable, even as it was leaning into the comedy of like, when he first gets out of the shower on the first day, and all of those, the pratfalls happen, but it's in a way that it's not disrespectful, if you get my meaning. It's
Yeah.
completely, he doesn't lose any of his dignity. It's just a series of really, unfortunate events. And I really appreciated just how it was balanced. So was it a delicate balance for you as a producer trying not to, trying to frame it so that, Peter Dinklage isn't, actually is just like throwing himself onto a mat or something just to make sure that the comedy goes off and, isn't actually injuring your star.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we took lots of precautions with that. And then, there's also like the cuts where you think he fell out, but he really just kind of
Oh,
landed. So there's
yeah.
all
And the
different
air
kinds of,
conditioner. I forgot about the air conditioner. Thank you for reminding me.
oh yeah, yeah. There's lots of fun like little things like that. It was so funny. You know, whether we're facing a parking spot or disability or this or that, Ted is amazing at bringing characters to life and looking at their humanity and creating people, and not like situations that focus on things that, well, like we don't need to focus on. We need to focus on the daily, fumbles, so to speak, that happen to everybody so that the audience is vast. It's everybody can relate. Anyway, I think he does a really great job at writing beautiful characters like
He
that.
he does the history lesson in the restaurant with, what everyone wants, and then the sandwich, a home and a sandwich. Was that his idea? Was that entirely his creation, or
Oh
was that
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
that was brilliant? That was
Yeah, well,
beautiful. I loved that.
yeah, he's brilliant like that. Because if you think about it, it's kind of true. It's like you just want a home and something good to eat, like a sandwich. He loves sandwiches. So
That makes sense. I would hope everyone does, but I just the whole cast was phenomenal. I loved the way you sort of deployed Danny Pudi at moments just to sort of keep things going. Like it was a how do I phrase it? It was as relatable a depiction of academia as I've seen.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I agree. Because you don't see it often in that. Yeah, I haven't thought of it like that. But we had an amazing location, and director Paul Dector, he just captured, the academia life like really amazingly.
did
And Danny
did
Pudi is brilliant.
did you choose Paul? Did Ted choose Paul? How was he particularly? How did he become involved in the production?
Paul was part of the creation from the beginning. So he's also a producer. So
Right, but
he
it's his first feature, so I was wondering how, obviously it's more important for him and for you that it all goes right.
Yeah, well, he had quite a track record in the commercial world.
Of
So
course.
And, as you collect your people around you, your circle of trust, so to speak, you start to trust in the fact that they know what they're doing, that they're creative, they have your back, they're all in it for the right reasons. There's lots of boxes that need to be checked. And the fact that Pete felt safe with him and trusted in him, and we all did. I mean, there's nothing better than giving someone their first wings, to
Yeah,
make a film.
that really is. Yeah, that's just, and he passes, he with flying colors, just beautiful, just wonderful feature. Who who are you hoping, who are you hoping finds this, in theaters or video on demand? What sort of audience are you hoping American Dreamer gets?
Well, I hope it finds everybody because, especially I would have to say if I had to choose, I guess, 30 and above, because the 30-year-olds are trying to find houses. They have the same they have the same angst that Pete does, that Phil Loader does in the movie. And as if they watch this movie, they're gonna relate and be related to it. And also our older audiences who get to appreciate the Danny Glover and Shirley MacLaine and really see these icons and legendary film stars on screen again is just it. I don't know. I think that's
Yeah,
really
there was a particular moment, in I think the first dinner scene between you, Peter, and Shirley, where she brings up past, what is your past life? And I'm like, oh my God, that was written for Shirley MacLaine.
it was.
That was like, oh my God, of course, that could only work for Shirley MacLaine.
That's right. That's
Uh,
right.
um, and just the way, if you have to get somebody who can treat the dialogue, who has a real voice for the dialogue. I've always felt that Peter Dinklage has, oh my God, one of the best voices in the business. So he can just he can get it across, and he can take the comedy, he can take the pathos. So he just turns every line into a mini symphony, basically, just in the way he said it, just in the way he conveys it. And even just the littlest look maybe to two women that he's, you know, dreaming about or fantasizing about, which where did that come from? I must ask.
Oh, the two women? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. You're gonna have to ask Ted about that.
If I get a chance to, if I get a chance to, but I was that was such that recurring thing. I just was curious because
I think, to be honest, I think it's just it feeds into the typical male dream of having beautiful women, and fantasize about them.
and I did like that it, not to give too much away, that it was that the oh sorry. I did like that it ended at a note of I'm going to get help, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. We'll see where maybe there's a part two with that.
Maybe.
Sorry,
Um,
just chiming in here to be mindful on time. I think if you want to ask him her last question.
okay. Um, what is next for you and Ted?
Um, we have two features coming out we're working on. The Goat for Netflix with Melissa McCarthy and Kevin
Oh,
Hart, and also Ranger's Apprentice, and that's for Skydance. We're
all right.
developing the book series.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to both. So this has been Kim Quinn, the producer and co-star of the fantastic new, how would you describe it?
The one-liner for the movie?
Oh yeah, a genre, I suppose you
Oh,
could say.
yeah, I would say a dark comedy
The
on some.
fantastic, beautiful dark comedy American Dreamer, directed by Paul Detter. Sorry, directed by Paul Detter and written by Theodore Melfi, who is probably one of the best writers in the business. So, Kimberly Quinn, thank you so much for taking the time today to speak to me. I know your schedule has been packed, so thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to seeing well this does, and I really hope this does well. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. You have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. It was my
Take
pleasure.
care.